All right, it's the last day, and it's the last chapter of the book of Mark. It's the good parts where Jesus comes back, but there's a crazy ending. So first, I don't know what Bible you're reading from, if you're reading online, but there's chapter 16, it ends at verse 8. And then a lot of versions have this little extra version, like mine's got, it's all in italics to like show there's something different about it. That was most likely added by scribes later on who were writing in the story who knew the end of the story, and so they tried to give us some more information. But they're way less reliable manuscripts, and most people who study this are like, okay, yeah, that's not part of the original Gospel of Mark. That's pretty important to know. One, because then we don't really look at that extra part as credible or reliable. But also, it kind of takes away from the impact of Mark's ending, right? This whole time he's making his readers ask, like, who is Jesus? And look, everyone's asking that question. Everyone's wrestling with this. And then he ends the story with some people finding out that Jesus rose from the dead, and they're like, whoa. And they're scared, and he's like, and they tell no one. Now, Mark's readers know, they would have known that these ladies eventually went and told people, because Mark wrote this because the word got out, right? So it's not like this was a secret and they're just finding out for the first time. But Mark is making a point. Like, initially, these women were hesitant to say anything because they still weren't totally sure. At the end of one of the other Gospels, it says when Jesus came back, a bunch of them worshiped, but some of them doubted. And it's like, you know what? In light of this whole big thing, this big question, like, who is Jesus? One of the main things that not just Mark, but the other gospel writers want you to get is that people have wrestled with that question. People who have seen him, like, wrestled with, okay, who is he? Like, it's not a super easy thing to just get it. In fact, when Jesus sees Thomas, this is recorded in John's gospel, he's like, Thomas, if you know Doubting Thomas, he's like, he got a bad rap because he doubts. But he's like, yeah, I'm not going to believe unless I actually see Jesus and get to put like my fingers in the holes in his hands. And he gets to do that. And Jesus says something interesting to me. He's like, all right, well, like, you're blessed because you've seen, right? This is a good thing for you. But blessed are those who believe and haven't seen. And it's almost like a nod to us, you know, because I'd love to do that. I'd love to actually like see him and I'd be like, yeah, cool, no doubts anymore. But this story, like, it basically meets us where we are with our doubts and our questions, and sure, like, pushes us toward faith, but also I think provides a lot of comfort if you're wrestling through this. So if you just read this for the first time, the Gospel of Mark, you've never read any of this, or maybe it's your first time back in a long time to reading stuff like this, and you're like, yeah, okay, yes, and maybe you're back and forth, take heart, because for 3 years, these people walked with Jesus. They saw him dead, saw him alive, and were like, I think I'm there, you know? And so if you're just starting out, like, it's great. Keep going, keep learning, keep reading, keep asking questions. That's what these disciples did, and eventually things change. But cut yourself some slack if you're not where you want to be, and stick with it, because there's great stuff on the other side of so many of these questions and doubts. So thanks for sticking with it. I mean, you made it the whole week. This is wonderful. Hopefully this is meaningful for you, and I'm sure we'll do something again like this at some point in the future. Have a great weekend. Hope to see you tomorrow. And now remember, we're on 3 services now. So we're at 8, 9:30, and 11. Hope to see you there. Bye-bye.